My name is Craig Perra. I'm the founder of The Mindful Habit. I'm the official coach on feedtherightwolf.org. As I said previously, I work with clients all over the world, and I now have an online program that I'm really, really proud of, a dynamic behavior change modality. Some of it based on my experience, some of it based on what I've learned, but I'm just so blessed and honored to be talking to you guys. And what I want to talk about today is the golden rule of behavior modification. The golden rule of behavior modification. And I want to share with you a technique, one household item that you have around your house that had a huge impact on me, that allowed me to discharge that compulsive sexual behavior, that allowed me space. So I want to lay a foundation. Any of you guys have watched my videos, you know that I am obsessive about habits. Habits rule our lives. In fact, 40, 50, 60, up to 70% of our day are consumed by habits. Habits rule our lives. As an organism, we cannot live without habits. So this simple habit cycle that I'm going to share with you is going to lay a foundation for what we're going to talk about today. And what we're going to talk about today, again, the golden rule of behavior modification, a powerful tool that really helped me move forward. And second is a common household item that you all have in your home that you can use to help transmute that sexual energy, shift that energy into a powerful place, and help you embrace your power of choice. Because let's face it, not only has your power of choice been compromised, but your power of choice in connection with your compulsive sexual behavior has been compromised. And listen, as men, women too, but as men at the pinnacle of Darwinian evolution, you have the male orgasm. And look at how we've respected it, how we've honored it. We haven't. I didn't in my past, and you're watching now because you need some help. So brave of you guys for reaching out. So brave of you for signing up. I'm definitely going to make it up to you for this technical glitch. So before we get started into the two things I want to talk about, first I want to lay a foundation. We are creatures of habit. We are creatures of habit. We spend, like I said, up to 50, 60, 70% of our day in habit land. So first, let me tell you what that landscape looks like so you know exactly what it looks like so you can do something about it. And this is going to lay a foundation for what we're going to talk about. It's going to take me about 3-4 minutes to walk through this very, very important lesson. And I'm going to do it quickly out of respect for your time, particularly because I'm running so late. But nonetheless, it is important. It's powerful. And if you've watched my videos, you've heard me talk about this before. If you've worked with me one-on-one, you have heard me talking about this before. Habits rule our lives. There are 3 phases habit cycle: trigger, thought, and action. Write that down. Trigger, thought, and action. Because if you can see yourself, if you can experience yourself move through the habit cycle, then you can do something about it. So first is trigger. That is the energy shift in the body from positive to negative. You're walking down the street, feeling good. And you look, there's a woman. Or you see an image on a website. It's just that energy shift in the body from positive to negative. Here's the thing about triggers, guys, that you must know. You must know this. Your triggers are biologically hardwired. Your triggers are biologically hardwired. That means they are not going away. There is no place in your universe where you're not going to notice an attractive woman, where you're not going to feel that pull sometimes to watch porn. But the goal is how to use that trigger ultimately to drive positive action. We're going to talk about that today. But we know as a matter of science that your triggers are biologically hardwired. You need to know that. And here's why when I learned this, guys, I wept. I remember spending thousands of dollars on therapy. I would drive home from the therapist office and boom, there I was getting triggered. There I was, no matter what I was doing, reading Feed the Right Wolf, reading the books, right? Obsessively focusing on the thing that I didn't want to do. but the triggers were still coming. They're biologically hardwired. And here's the reality. You can use them to drive positive action once you understand the habit cycle. So remember that about triggers. And here's why I tell you that. There is so much shame surrounding this issue. How much shame are you guys carrying inside you because you can't control your sexual energy? Well, you think you can't control it, but in fact, you can. You have that power. It's inside you. It's inside you now. And I want to share with you some tools to help you embrace your power of choice. Phase 2 of the habit cycle come the thoughts. Trigger, energy shift in the body from positive to negative. Then the thoughts come. Look at those tits, look at that ass, I want to watch porn, or getting defensive with our wives and significant other. How many of you guys can connect with that, right? What are you watching? What are you looking at? What are you doing? Did you look at porn? No. Energy shift from positive to negative, and then the thoughts come. Now, those thoughts are the result for many of you of decades of programming. Those also aren't going away. Not instantly, not right away. They're far more pliable. You can manipulate them and change them easier than you can the triggers, but depending upon where you are in your recovery and where you are in your living, because I believe you have to move beyond recovery, those thoughts are going to be there. Those thoughts are going to be there. Then comes action. Then you move towards the computer, you move towards porn, you move towards your compulsive sexual behavior or not. Where you're going to be successful in the early stages is creating space between thought and action. And I've talked about that in a couple of webinars. I've talked about that in my videos. And the tool, the household item that I'm going to encourage you to use will help you create that space. But first, let me talk a little bit about addiction recovery. I do not support wholeheartedly or endorse the disease-based model of addiction, and for very, very, very good reason. I think it's addictive, but when we say the word addiction, we are now cloaking our sexuality and our compulsive sexual behavior under the disease-based model of addiction. And there's a problem with that, right? Because that's an abstinence-based model. We are moving towards healthy sexuality with a partner. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of different reasons that why that disease-based model doesn't fit here, or why it isn't a perfect fit. Certainly in the early stages, we can borrow from the disease-based model. But here it is, guys. Here is the golden rule of behavior modification that profoundly changed my life, that changes the lives of my one-on-one clients all over the world, the people taking the program. And I've got professional athletes in this program. I've got celebrities in this program. I've got people who are very, very, very successful, yet nothing they did worked. They did 12 steps. They did counseling. They did therapy. They read book after book. I've got guys who call me and who have a neuroscientist level knowledge of the brain, yet they can't stop their compulsive behavior. And here's why. And this is one of the challenges of the disease-based model. You obsessively focus on the thing that you don't want to do. You obsessively focus on the thing that you don't want to do. Porn, compulsive sexual behavior, escorts, massage parlors, streetwalkers, video booths, whatever it might be for you, there's an obsessive focus, okay? Now, in the beginning of your recovery, yes, you have to run away from negative, leaving the bad habits behind, leaving the stories and the programming from our childhood behind, leaving the behaviors behind. But here's the thing. The golden rule of behavior modification is to break a habit, you have to make a habit. You have to do something. You have to take action. You have to move towards the life that you want to create. You have to move towards the life that you want to create. That's a scientific fact. To break a habit, you have to make a habit. You have to do something. And let's face it, for whatever reason, right? We all have our own unique stories. Every man that I see has been exposed to porn at a very young age. Many of the guys that I work with have experienced trauma, physical, sexual, mental trauma, or neglect when they were children. And sometimes that early exposure to porn became the coping strategy, became the way that this person deals with this problem. Okay? And guess what? It works. You want to escape? You want to get away? You want to take your mind off your troubles? Well, you tap into that evolutionary force and you masturbate and you watch porn. It takes you away from what you don't want to experience. It numbs you. It numbs you. It removes you further from the man you want to be. Well, here's my question. What kind of man do you want to be? Who do you want to be? You have to move forward. So here's my recommendation. Early in your recovery, and this is true if you're using 12 steps, this is true if you're on my program, this is true if whatever you're doing, I get guys calling me. This happens at least once every 2 weeks. I get a call from somebody who's been sober for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months to a year. Guess what? Oh, so they call me and say, hi, my name's Joe. I've been sober now for 3 months. I've been sober for 6 months. I've been sober for a year. These calls are so common. I've got a little skit that I do because I want to help illuminate them. Congratulations, that's wonderful. No, you don't understand, Craig. Man, I understand. That is awesome. You have beat this. You've knocked this back. You must be living a great life. You must be in the aggressive pursuit of a great life. Why? Because the cure for this addiction, for this affliction, is the aggressive pursuit of a great life. If you guys know the Feed the Right Wolf story on feedtherightwolf.org, that website name comes from an ancient Indian story that's been passed down generation after generation after generation. And it is telling, and it is illustrative, and it is important, and is something that you don't need, that you need to know. Two wolves inside us. One wolf, evil, darkness, addiction, sadness, jealousy, anger, rage, frustration, all the bad things. And there's another wolf inside us. There's another wolf inside, the good wolf, empathy, love, kindness, dedication, support, compassion, love. I'm going to say that again, love, right? There's two wolves inside us. And so this ancient Native American tale tells us something very, very important about habits, which science has now confirmed. To break a habit, you have to make a habit. Which wolf is going to win? Put there in the comments if you know which wolf is going to win. The wolf you feed is the one that you are going. The wolf you feed is the wolf that's going to win. To break a habit, you have to make a habit. So I implore, I beg, and encourage everyone on this call to look at their lives in the following 6 categories. Your career or school. Number 1, finances, your health, your hobbies, your relationships, your spirituality. How you doing in each one of those areas? Are you living the life you want to live in each one of those areas? My guess is the answer is no. How can it be? We've sacrificed our power of choice. We've sacrificed our power of choice around our sexuality. One of the most powerful forces, according to Napoleon Hill, self-help guru, author of the book Think Big, Grow Rich. Charles Darwin, sex is one of the most powerful forces ever. Sigmund Freud. Well, I can name a whole bunch of other big names who've said similar quotes, but I can't think of any other ones right now. Sex is powerful. Sex is powerful, and it works. This is why we're here. This is why we have a crisis of manhood all over this planet, because we are giving away our power of choice, and we are doing it in connection with our powerful sexual energy. So look at those 6 categories. If you're not where you want to be, start moving towards that. Start moving towards the life that you want to create. Start moving towards the man that you want to be. If you insist on running away from the negative, the compulsive behaviors, the stories, we all have them. We all self-deprecate. We all have these stories. We all have stuff that we've experienced in our childhood. right? Mine was pretty heavy. Some of you guys was too, right? And my clients that I work with one-on-one, we're talking about some heavy stuff. But even if it's not, you're stuck in a life of mediocrity, malaise, and underachievement. You want to beat this? Achieve, excel, move towards the life that you want to create. Why? Because the Native American said it would feed the right wolf, and now science tells us to break a habit, you have to make a habit. The cure for this affliction is the aggressive pursuit of a great life. So here's what I recommend. Okay, and you guys got to figure out the right balance. 50% on not doing the thing, 50% on doing something else. 50% on not watching porn, focus on the behaviors, focus on the stories that brought you here, right? Why sex, right? It could be drugs. It could be, we could be assholes to our partners. There's all sorts of things, alcohol, cigarettes. There could be all sorts of other coping strategies that we could be using, but we've happened to choose the most powerful one in the history of mankind. Well, because it works, right? It works. It works. So the other 50% though, move towards the man you want to be in your career. You want to stop watching porn, start living life aggressively, passionately, because you only have one. This is it, brothers. This is it. And here's the beautiful opportunity. I love being in the place that I'm at now, because you've got millions of men all over the world who are consumed, who are moving away from love for their partners. Right? We don't even know how do we please a woman? We just watch pornography. We don't know. We certainly can't do that. I don't know too many women who are into some of that stuff. Right? We've lost that intimacy. We've lost that connection. We've lost that love. And so the opportunity here is to regain our power of choice, create the life that we want. And I promise you, you will leave your porn addiction and your compulsive behavior behind. Okay? So remember this as you move forward on your journey. To break a habit, you have to make a habit. That, my brothers, is a scientific fact. You have to do something. Not do something. Yeah, that's part of it. I get it. That's part of it. Guys, I spent my whole life in 12 steps. I spent my whole life in therapy, all looking backwards. All having me obsessively focus on the thing that I didn't want to do. Locking down the computer, putting on the passwords. Listen, some of you guys here, particularly my guys in IT, right? They have honed their computer skills. I can program. I can replace a hard drive. I can swap out a motherboard. I can put in a new video card, sound card, modem. Back in the old days, all because of porn. All because of pornography. That's helped me get where I am today in some crazy cockamamie way, because it works, because it's powerful. You have to counter that power with the power that's inside you. I know it's there. You know it's there. That's why you're here. You just need someone to push in the right direction. So that right direction is forward, not backwards. It's forward. The cure is the aggressive pursuit of a great life. So to recap really, really quickly on that, 3 phases of the habit cycle. I'm going to talk more about that in my next webinar. I'm going to do this monthly. I'm going to figure out what the technological problem was so you guys can come back and feel comfortable knowing that you're going to get a good quality product and get some good advice. So again, my apologies for the technical difficulties. But look at your life, career or school, finances, health, hobbies, relationships, and spirituality. Aggressively pursue that. I promise you, even for a week, you don't believe me, test my hypothesis. Stop focusing on all the things that you don't want to do. Just do it, just for 1 week. What's it going to hurt, right? Look at the mess you've already made of your lives. Okay, I know the mess I made of my life. I lost a 6-figure job. I almost lost my wife and kids, all because of my compulsive sexual behavior. But things changed for me in a powerful, profound way when I started to learn about the science of the habit cycle. I learned to create space, that space between thought and action. Your triggers are biologically hardwired. I get emails all the time, guys. Just a quick diversion. How do I stop the triggers? You don't. You don't. Over time, I mean, let's just think about it for a second, right? Look at our sexuality started wiring in us when we were in the womb. Okay? And every good thing and bad thing that happened to us became part of that sexuality. It is what procreates the species. You're not going to make it go away. And frankly, you don't want it to go away. What you want to do is transmute that powerful sexual energy into creating a great life. So look at your life in those 6 core areas and identify where you are and where you want to be. And stop taking steps to move there, and do it aggressively. Do it like your life depends on it, because it does. The quality of your life depends on it, right? You know that there's no greatness. There's no greatness stuck in this hole that we've dug ourselves in. I say we because I was there, brother. I was there. I know what it's like. And I don't want to brag, but look at me now. I've been on Katie Couric. I've been in newspapers. I got clients in 15 countries all over the world. I got an online program. Where's the online program? Display over. So, by the way, everybody who participates in this webinar gets 50% off the online program. That's the commercial break. So just know that that's available for you. Those are big savings. I'm doing that for everybody who's participating on this call, the guys who had the guts to show up. So check it out. Very powerful. I'm not going to say any more than that, although it is my life's work. And it's powerful and it works. Okay? So let's go now on to the second part of our lesson. And in the second part of our lesson, I want to share with you the common household item that you can use to break free from compulsive sexual behavior. Okay? When I discovered this, bear with me with this story, right? You've been listening for me talk already, so thank you for your patience. When I discovered this, I was blown away. I cured my compulsive sexual behavior. This was unbelievable. As soon as I did this thing, I could feel the energy start to dissipate, start to transmute into another direction. I could feel it. I interrupted my habit cycle. I hacked my habit cycle. So here's what you got to do. Remember, your triggers are biologically hardwired. Those are not going away. You need to accept that. My guys who work with me one-on-one, and if you're online in the online program, I say that until you are sick of hearing it. I'm going to say it again a couple of times, knowing that I'm probably annoying some of you. Your triggers are biologically hardwired. You need to know that, because what happens when you get triggered? The thoughts, the shame, the desperation, the failure drives us right back to the place we don't want to be. What if, in fact, you recognize that your triggers were biologically hardwired and now you got to do something about it? The thoughts, the result of decades of programming. The decades of programming. Okay, so where you're going to find space, where you're going to be successful. I just gave you the bad news. Your triggers are biologically hardwired. Your thoughts are the result of decades of programming. And before you take action, what do? You use the triggers, you use the thoughts to take action, to do something that's going to discharge that sexual energy. And here's what I do. I got thousands of guys all over the country with elastic bands on their wrist. Elastic bands on their wrist. Snap. That's it. That is it. Now I got a cool one here, Partners in Crime. This came from Coach Robbie, and I got another one here. But that is, you've got to do something. You've got to do something to interrupt that negative habitual energy. That trigger comes, boom, energy shift in the body from positive to negative. The thoughts start racing. Use the thoughts. Use the thoughts. Snap back to reality. Snap back to reality. Now, when you do it, bring a little bit of mindfulness to what you just did. Mindfulness is being in the present moment, on purpose, without judgment. Okay? Focus on that snap. I'm doing it again 3 or 4 times, and I can feel the sting. Now, listen, if you cut yourself, if you self-harm, this is not the exercise for you. There are other exercises for you, but this one isn't it. For everybody else, You can use this simple tool to someone used this technique for cutting. When I discovered it, okay, I thought I was all, the cat's meow. This is unbelievable. This is going to change lives. Well, it is unbelievable. It is going to change lives. I didn't discover it. I didn't invent it. It's been featured on Dr. Oz. It's been featured on Oprah. Kelly Osbourne's, $1,000 an hour therapist prescribed this. It's used for people with negative thinking. It's a form of what they call aversion therapy. I don't necessarily use it to focus on the pain or to associate negativity with my triggers and thoughts, because those really aren't going away. But what I do is I use it to snap back to reality. And when you snap it, if any of you guys got an elastic band there, you want to give yourself a quick pinch. Here's what we have a tendency to do with pain. We run away from it. You ever stub your toe and right? Just you got to get away. You got to get away from pain. Go into it. Experience it. Feel that energy in your arm, that sting, transmute throughout your entire body. Throughout your entire body, you can feel it. Now listen, is this going to cure your porn addiction? No. But if you combine some powerful tools and techniques with the habit cycle, interrupt the habit cycle, because that's what it is, brother. Every time you watch porn, you're in the habit cycle. Trigger, thought, action. It's the foundation upon which my modality is based. And it was the only thing that brought me out of my compulsive sexual behavior. Someone's already calling me. Thank you for calling. But I cannot talk right now. What's going on? All right. There we go. Guys, give me 1 second. I don't know how to turn that off. There we go. That was a Google call, and I'm sorry, I can't take that right now. So think about what you need to do if you are going to be triggered, which you are, and if you are going to have thoughts, which you will. Over time, the thoughts lower in frequency. They lower in severity. They're not nearly as graphic. They're not nearly as powerful, but you're going to have them. So what do? How do you hack your habit cycle? Now, the elastic band may not be your thing, right? I got a client, a doctor, who pulls the back of his hair, something that's going to snap him out of the place where he's in, out of the habit cycle. He's going to snap back to reality. So here's what I want you to take from this webinar, guys, and thank you for your patience. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. We're going to be doing one of these a month, and I'm going to post it on Feed the Right Wolf. I'll send it to email or however you found me. It'll be on social media, however you got there. But I'd like to hear from you to know how you're doing, how this works, because, look, I'm saying it again. Your triggers are biologically hardwired. Your thoughts aren't going to magically disappear. But you can use those triggers. You can use those thoughts to create space, to create a hiccup, to create a speed bump, a stop sign, yield sign, yellow light, red light, whatever it might be, whatever you might picture in your head, to take the right action, to feed the right wolf. You combine your habit cycle work with the aggressive pursuit of a great life, you are going to succeed. You are going to be the man that you know you're destined to be. You know it. Why else would you be here? Stop it. You're not fooling me. Don't fool yourself. You're desperate. You're hungry. Well, feed the right wolf inside you. Aggressively pursue a great life. Hack your habit cycle. And remember, to break a habit, you have to make a habit. So do something, and do it well, and do it hard, and dedicate as much energy as you possibly can to creating that great life. So I'm going to pause for a minute, wipe the sweat from my brow, and see if you guys have any questions. You can post those in the chat. Yeah, some of you guys are common household item. Yep. So listen, if there aren't any questions, and I'm going to stop this broadcast, you will get a replay I'm actually not going to send it to you automatically. I'm going to edit it just to make it a little bit more presentable, just because of our bumpy start. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, what else? What else? What else? Yes, George Collins, as you know, Gary, was inspirational for me. He was my counselor. When I got fired from my job, when I almost lost my wife and kids, George Collins hired me. Great book, by the way. Great book. And he's also someone who hasn't blindly adopted the disease-based addiction model. He talks about mindfulness. He talks about tools. He talks about techniques. The name of his book is Breaking the Cycle, Free Yourself from Porn Addiction, Sex Obsession, and Shame. Very powerful work. Yes, a pinch would work. So choose a new habit. Embrace your power of choice. You guys got this. I love you all. Thank you for watching. I'm blown away when, we've had 200 plus people sign up. 40 of you have joined. I am so blessed to be at this point in my life, and I want to keep giving back. I'm grateful. You've been wonderful for me. You've allowed me to create a wonderful life for my family, to coming back from an absolute disaster, all occasioned by my inability to embrace my power of choice and to create a great life. But those days are behind me, brothers. I want to help you embrace your power of choice. Thank you. Love you all.